channel. I'm so excited to be doing this video today. It's a series I wanted to start on my channel for a while, for a lot of other book adaptations that I've loved the movie version of and I love the book version of. Today I'm going to be doing a book versus movie review chat about To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Now, if anyone follows me on Instagram or even on here, you know how much I love this series and how excited I was that they've made a movie about it. I love it so much. I honestly watched the movie like 6 times since it was released and I'm gonna watch it more and more. Okay, so basically what I want to do in my book versus movie review is kind of talk about, I've made a lot of notes. I want to talk about, you know, the differences, the similarities, what I loved, what I, you know, preferred. I will preface this video by saying that when I watched the movie, I didn't think, oh my god, this is so different to the book and oh, they, you know, they've changed so much. I didn't think that at all. At all. I think after just watching it a few times, I've picked up little things that are similar to the books or like they're a little nod to the book or are different, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. These videos aren't meant to say, oh, this is bad and this is wrong. This is just me comparing and contrasting. And yeah, just go into detail about it. So I have made a lot of notes because I love this series and I love this movie. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be too long of a video. If you haven't watched the movie or read the book To All the Boys I Loved Before, I will be talking about the movie and book in detail. And I may reference the second and third books. I will do a spoiler warning for when I mention the second or third books though. But the future ones I'm wanting to do is like It, Call Me By Your Name, Love, Simon. So I'm going to do them next. Leave in the comments below which one you would like most and I'll do that one first. But let's just jump straight in because otherwise we're going to be here for ages. So the first point that I put on my list is the casting. Now, I'm probably going to say their names wrong, but the people they chose for Lara Jean and Peter Kavinsky, in my opinion, are perfect. Absolutely perfect. A lot of us who have obviously read the books and seen the movie cover, I know I personally, you know, imagined this girl on the cover here. But when I saw her, when I saw she had been chosen for the movie or the trailer, if you will, I just thought, no, this is perfect. She's just, they're both amazing actors, the main leads of the film, obviously Noah and Lana. She has just got the best facial expression. She's just so awkward and just so innocent. I don't even know how to put it, but she's just an amazing actress. I felt she captured Lara Jean perfectly. I laughed so much, but then yeah, she got her Lara Jean's softness and her vulnerability as well as her innocence and her awkwardness. I just felt she was amazing. Well done, Lana. You're never going to watch this video, but you captured Lara Jean perfectly, and I hope to see you in the sequel because you're just amazing. It was just so good. Now, of course, Peter fucking Kavinsky. Noah, thank you. RIP to all of us who love the books and now love the movie because, damn. When I saw again that they had cast Noah as Peter, I'll admit, I pictured Peter very different to Noah. I did not picture him like that at all. I don't know what I even pictured, but it's just not that. I think not as dark in that hair. I mean, it's obviously in the book he's got dark hair, but I don't know, it just wasn't at all Noah who they chose. But when I saw the first trailer, I thought, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. And again, they've just not only cast the actors well for the look of the characters, but I just feel like Noah and Lana just pick up these characters so well. I feel like Noah does such a good job at being arrogant like Peter, but also having that underlying softness to him and that, you know, he's really a gentleman and a sweetie at heart, and I feel like he just captured that so well. He had the ease of like a cool boy, but then also, you know, as we know, Peter's vulnerable underneath and he's not as confident as he seems, and I just think that Noah captured that character perfectly. They're both knockouts, in my opinion, in this movie because obviously I'm biased. I love this book so much. It's one of my absolute favorites and I absolutely adore this movie now. They just made the movie. I think obviously they're the two main characters. Crucial to get that right, and I think they definitely did. Their chemistry is amazing and I'm just very impressed by the casting, people who've obviously picked them based not only on their look but on their skills. I think I mean, I watched it like 7 times, so I picked up a little, you know, things that maybe I overlooked the first time when I was so excited, because I did do a movie reaction when I first watched it, and of course you're overwhelmed and excited by when you first watch it. I'll link that down below. Thank you so much for all the support on that video. It's, I think, almost got 600 views on it, and I don't even know what's happening. Like, thank you so much. Anyway, Kitty, the girl who plays Kitty, they've cast her really well too. I didn't add that. And her dad, I think, is perfect for the casting. I love him from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Other honorable mentions for the casting that kind of somewhat differed to what I pictured, but is still amazing. Josh, I pictured Josh to be like your all-American, like, nerdy boy. The guy who plays Josh, I think his name's Israel something. I'm sorry, I don't know his last name. He is so beautiful. This whole cast is so beautiful. It hurts. They're so good looking. Yeah, Josh, I pictured him way more like all-American and definitely not as good looking as that guy. Well done. Well done to you. But yeah, another thing I wrote down here is that I didn't picture Josh as like indie as he is in the movies. He kind of wears like denim a lot in the movies, and I don't know, I just feel like he's got that kind of hipster look in the movie, which I'm not complaining about. He pulls it off really nice, but I didn't picture him as kind of cool and like hipster. I'm going to kind of do it in chronological order and kind of talk about things that I like that they added, or things that compare to the book. So I really like how they started the movie with the field, because I think obviously when you're making a book into a movie, a lot of, especially books like this where it's like coming from her perspective, it's hard to kind of do that in a monologue on screen. And I think when they started the field where like she's daydreaming about Josh, it's perfect because of her romance novels, and I thought that was just a really funny and cute way to start the movie. But it kind of goes full circle, as we know at the end, where she says, you know, I always imagined falling in love in a field. So I'm glad, it's really good how they did that full circle. I really liked how they did that. I'm so glad that the romance novels are mentioned so many times in this book. I think it's so funny when I read the book that she reads those novels, especially considering how innocent and shy she is. And I'm glad that they got an honorable mention and were shown quite a lot in the film. And what I found really funny, this movie, like, it has so much heart like the books, but it was so funny. Like, don't get me wrong, I laughed in the book, but this movie is just so hilarious. The whole time me and my friend react to this movie, which is, as I said, linked down below, we just pissed ourselves laughing the whole time. I just thought the little things they added here and there, like Kitty throwing the cushion, which is so Kitty, and like just little things that just make it so funny. For example, in the books, her dad cooks Korean food when he has a day off, and in the books he's pretty good at cooking the Korean food as far as I'm aware. I think in the book he makes it like too salty, but in the movie he fully burns this like roast lamb or something, and it was hilarious, but also a nice, like, you know, nod to the books to include that in, obviously. The thing I liked about the movie that they kind of changed around, or they kind of did in the movie, was how Margot and Josh broke up. They don't really kind of say why. I mean, we know that Lara Jean finds the letter later on, and Josh is implying that they broke up because they had sex and she got scared. But I like how in the movie they kind of imply that, you know, she was always gonna break up with him and he got the tickets, and it was really awkward, and it was cringy, but it was great as well. And then they break up after that. I think that's a smart way to do it, and you kind of feel less bad for Josh, I guess, because it's kind of more of a reason. In the books she just kind of breaks up with him, but yeah. I will add, obviously you can't include everything in the movies, but I would have liked to see the scene where him and Margot are talking in the middle of the night. I mean, you can't include everything in the movie. It's only an hour and a half, so I know like some of this is like impossible, but I don't know, did anyone else feel like Margot a little bit? Do you think she came across a bit cold in the movie, where she was just like, I love him, but I don't want to be with him now, and then like she sees him outside the house and she's like, ugh, and then she goes? I don't know, like I think it added another layer to her in the books, which of course is going to happen when you have more content, but yeah, I wish that we could have seen that scene when they see each other. Lara Jean sees Margot talking to him and they're crying, because I think, like, you were with him for fucking how long? And like, see ya! Something me and my friend talked about in our reaction to the movie was Lara Jean's room. Now, I fucking love her room in the movie. It is beautiful and messy, but I didn't picture it messy in the books. You know how we see our little capture of Margot's room when she's packing? I pictured Lara Jean's room more like that. Like, there's gonna be clutter and stuff, but like definitely not as messy as in the movie, and that's probably my bad. I probably says that in the books and I just didn't realize. I think it adds to Lara Jean's character and who she is. So her room is beautiful, and I love that in her room, while we didn't see any scrapbooking in the movie, we got to see her walls, you know, kind of like scrapbooked, if you will, and, you know, all her different artwork and stickers and stuff on the wall. Also, another thing that we kind of got to see in relation to her scrapbooking side was how the letters were kind of decorated in different ways depending on which boy it was, which I thought was a nice touch, because, you know, you can't put everything in the movie, and obviously scrapbooking is not going to be that important to put in the freaking movie, but I think that's kind of a nice, you know, nod, if you will. I'm going to say nod a lot. A nice nod to the books to say, we couldn't probably put a whole scene in, but it's kind of like saying, well, she likes to scrapbook, so this is what she would do, you know? I think that is added in the movies that I checked that wasn't in the books was Kitty wearing the helmet. I couldn't remember. It's been a long time since I've reread it. I reread it in preparation for the movie, and now I want to read it in full after the movie to continue reading on. And I have only read the second and third book once, so I want to reread them really soon, because I'm obsessed right now. You know when you just read something so much and now you've seen the movie, you're like, did that happen? No! In the book, she doesn't have the helmet, and I think it's so Kitty to do that, to put the helmet on and be like, I don't trust Lara Jean to drive. It's perfect. Another thing I thought was very Lara Jean that they put in is how she literally trips into Jen. This doesn't happen in the books at all. I don't think they really talk too much in the first book very much. They don't really interact too much in the first book, but it was perfect. Not only because you tripped because of Joss, but because you tripped onto Jen. Perfect, loved it, yeah. They also changed around how the party went when they were younger, which I understand, you know, for a movie, they did it as spin the bottle at this party, not so much that there was just two of them left, and, you know, Peter made the move and kissed her. Which I understand. To me, it's one and the same. Those types of little things that I changed in movies. I did kind of think it was really cute and funny how Jen was like, something they changed in the books, in the movie, which I think is so funny. And it's also a nod to the book. Is in the book, sorry, we'll start with the movie. In the movie, when Lara Jean hits Peter with her car, that doesn't happen in the books. In the books, she is driving along and she gets into an accident. Peter comes and finds her and asks if she's okay, and then drives off. In the movie, she runs into him and then he's like, are you okay? Like, are you sure you're gonna be fine getting home? Which is very, very similar, but just so much more funny in the movie, because then she's like, oh, we're gonna wait for all the cars to leave. So Lara Jean, so perfect. Big change in the movie was why Kitty sent the letters. Now, in the book, they actually have an argument. She teases Kitty about liking Josh in front of Josh, and Josh doesn't know, but Kitty knows, and she gets upset with Lara Jean, and then out of spite she sends the letters. In the movie, it's a little bit sweeter, you know, it's not out of spite. She's just saying, you know, like, you need to get out more, like, I'm 11 and I'm cancelling plans to be here and you're 16. So I did like that, that it wasn't out of spite, and, you know, she had the best intentions, as they say. I think that is essentially spot on to a certain point is when Peter confronts her about the letter. I was looking at it today, it's essentially word for word. He does track her down in the track, like when she's running around the track, and what he says is essentially the same. She feels like in the book she's going to faint. The real only difference is that she does faint, which I think is fucking hilarious. And then obviously they've added the kiss into this moment in the movie instead of in the book when it's different. In the movie, which they did, I think, because I think I watched an interview with Noah where he said he probably couldn't lift her up anyway, and like cinematically it was too hard to shoot it when they jump into it, when she jumps into his arms. I personally love how they did it in the movie. I think it's perfect, and it makes it all that much more like, oh my god, because like you see that Peter has a letter and you see that Josh is coming with a letter and you're like, oh my god, and then she kisses him. So yeah, that's the only real difference, that she faints and that they do the kiss there. And otherwise she runs off to the locker room and it's all really the same. So I thought that was really funny because he literally does say what he says in the movie in the book. Now Lucas and that conversation that they have after she runs off from the track with Josh and Peter, and she goes into the bathroom and Lucas is there. That doesn't happen in the books. Their conversation again is like word for word for the book, which I thought was really cool, but it doesn't happen in that chronologically, I don't know, you know what I'm saying. It doesn't happen at that time, but it does happen later on, and it's basically word for word. Cafe is a change in itself. The cafe in the movies is like the diner in the book, so really like it's not that big of a change, but it's like a central part of the movies more so than it is of the book, and I really like how they've done that. We obviously first see her there in the cafe with Peter when she's like, oh my god, what just happened to my life. Now, like the book, she orders a cherry cola. It's the same as the book. It happens on the same day. So they have a conversation in the book after school. She tracks him down in the parking lot, I think, and talks to him, whereas in the movie it's at the cafe, which is a bit cuter. And I will note that in the movie, Peter orders a chocolate shake, which is funny because in the book, Josh is the one that likes the chocolate shakes, but maybe that was a nod to the book, I don't know. There's also a few other little nice plays, nice mentions from this particular scene in the book that kind of they switched around, or that like it's mentioned in the book, but like they've mixed up the order it's in. For example, in the book, Lara Jean teases him about having Jen's initials tattooed on him, but in the movie, she is teased by him about her having his face or something on her ass or something. So I thought that was kind of cute, and I never really noticed that in the book before until I remember now watching the movie that he teases her, and I was like, that's a bit weird to say. And now today looking back at the book, I was like, oh, well, that's what they've done. They've kind of played it on that, except instead of her teasing him, it's him teasing her. Also, we see her jump out the window and ride the bike to the cafe. Now, in the book, when she does the contract negotiations with Peter, which is a separate day to when they talk about what happened on the track, she rides her bike to his house. Now, we don't see this in the movie. She has that conversation with him about their contract negotiations later in the movie, so we don't see her ride her bike to his house. So I thought, again, that was like a nice little nod to the book to say, well, you're not going to ride your bike to his house to have that conversation, but you're going to ride your bike to the cafe to get away from Josh. In the movie, they talk about all the boys that she used to like, and they talk about Lucas and Kenny and all that. In the book, this happens later on, so that's a slight difference. This is probably way too detailed to put on YouTube. I've already been talking for 22 minutes and I'm still on page 1. Oh god! We'll see how long I can get through until my camera dies. But yeah, this conversation does happen in the books, and again, it's almost word for word for what's in the movie in the cafe, but it just doesn't happen that soon in the book. It happens a bit later. I really like that they included the diner or the cafe. In the book, the diner has a one jukebox, and Lara Jean mentioned that she went there all the time with Margot and Josh. In the movie, they do have little tiny jukeboxes on the tables, which I just noticed that today actually, and I thought that was a really nice touch. Again, like a touch to the books, and it's not exactly the same, but it's like a nice little homage or whatever you want to call it. Now, the conversation, I put it under the cafe because I put this point under the cafe because in the books, when they're talking about Lucas being gay, that he goes, oh, he wore an ascot to school the other day, which I was like, oh, it's interesting, because in Lara Jean's flashback in the movie, Peter doesn't say that. Peter goes, everyone knows he's gay. But in the book, he says that, and then in the movie, in her flashback scene when Lucas gives her the letter, she's like, that's a nice ascot. And I was like, oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did. Something I love about the book, and that was kind of in this a little bit, was how Peter and Josh hate each other, and I love how Peter likes to make Josh jealous. In the book, he kisses her outside of her house, I think towards the middle or end of the book. In the movie, he doesn't do that, but you can kind of see his face when he's talking to Josh outside the house, when he's like, oh, well, you know, let's just pretend to be together, where he's like, yeah, we've been hanging out, you know, for a little while.
Hey, how long you two been hanging out? Not long.
He's kind of just like, I'm making you jealous. Just similar but different. I like how they kind of did like the daydreaming with Josh, and then Peter comes into it where she's like can see them in her room, but they're not real. They use this again for like the inner monologue with Lara Jean. Like, she talks to Josh, sometimes in real life, and sometimes she talks to Josh, you know, in her head. And I think it's a good way for the inner monologue to come into play, because it's hard unless you have a movie where it's like this happened and this happened. Like, sometimes it's not easy for the movie to just voice the character's thoughts about it without playing it out. So I thought this was really smart. Now, something I noticed today is they don't have, there's something that is not in the books that I love and I kind of wish was, is when Lara Jean says, let's do it, and he kisses her in front of everyone. That's not in the books. That line is in the book. She does say, let's do this or whatever, which I thought was cute. But they don't kiss at that point. In the book, he tries to kiss her, I think, in the halls, and they bang their heads, and then he's like, oh my God. And I think that's why she says she doesn't want to kiss him, because in the movie, you're like, damn girl, what? Why do you want him to kiss you? Seriously. The contract negotiations, if I will put it that way, in the movie happen in like this beautiful picturesque outside the school with a bench. It's like beautiful. I actually love that they did it there. It's so pretty. In the book, as I said, it's outside Peter's house. So I think for cinematically it would have been better to do it outside the school with that cherry blossom. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm glad they changed that around, because it's a beautiful scene that's really funny. What I found interesting when I was, cross-referencing the book here was that in the book, it's actually Peter's idea to put his hand in Lara Jean's back pocket. And they mentioned of 16 candles. Maybe that is how he got the idea. But he is the one who references the hand in the back pocket. And in the book, something I did like that kind of isn't portrayed as much in the movie as when Lara Jean says, you know, I want to save some first. I don't want to like use them all up. In the book, in the movie, she doesn't say that explicitly, so maybe that's why. But in the movie, she's just like, oh, yeah, I guess. But in the book, he's like, oh, yeah, we have to save some, which I think like shows Peter's character a bit more than the movie did at that point. Very, very small. But yeah, if you know what I'm saying, I think that was really sweet of Peter. When I read that when the further first time, I was like, oh. But in the movie, he's a bit more blasé. He's like, oh, well, fine. A difference, another slight minuscule difference that I'll probably cut out of this video is that there's no specific movies referenced in the list, in the book. They just put certain genres they have distaste for, but Lara Jean does make a mental note to read Fight Club, which I think is cute that they then put it on the list in the movie, because she's like, shit, I have to watch Fight Club. Now, the car trip where they pick Kitty up for the first time is almost identical to the book. This is such a funny scene. The only difference is the yogurt. Now, obviously, you can't have like 10 different car scenes if you're picking them up, so they obviously mushed it all into one. But the yogurt kind of doesn't really come into play until later in the book, where he's been picking them up for a little while. But they mushed it all into one scene for the movie. It was spot on. I honestly, like, almost word for word for the book. Beautiful, hilarious. The only difference, I think, in this scene is the type of car. Yes, I'm going into that much detail. In the books, he has an Audi, and in the movies, I think it's a Jeep. Now, what an iconic scene the cafeteria scene is. What an iconic scene.
I was used to being invisible, but now people were looking at me, talking about me.
And, oh my God, I died because it's like the hand in the back pocket. Oh my God, oh my God. This does happen in the books. It's basically exactly the same as the book. They go into the cafeteria walking in together. Everyone's like, oh my God. And then they don't go to his friends and they just kind of talk to each other, and then he walks off and she walks off. Beautiful, loved it, iconic. Iconic. That little spin though, that little spin. Super cringy Skype call and like short conversation chats with Margot and with herself, hilarious. It's different to the books. In the books, she's emailed her most of the time, and you know, they kind of are awkward via email. But I think for cinematic effect and for hilarity, it's so much funnier that it's just like, okay, bye. Although that scene, whoever did the styling for this movie, her outfits though, she looks amazing throughout this entire movie. So many beautiful, perfect Lara Jean outfits. I think my most favorite Lara Jean outfit in the whole movie is this one. It's when she's trying to Skype Margot. I don't know, it's not even that fancy, but I just feel like it's so Lara Jean, that outfit. And my next favorite would probably be the end outfit that she wears with the knee stockings. Oh, so Lara Jean, so stylish. Loved it. The casting and the styling in this movie, top notch, top notch. Another kind of thing that we see in the movie is how his friends call her Largie, and it's not as obvious as it is in the book, but if you look, and I've taken photos, you know, in the book he kind of is exposed to her food and her yogurt drink, if you will, whereas in the movie you don't see the rice balls happening in the cafeteria where his friends are eating it. But if you notice in the beginning of the movie, Lara Jean is drinking some like coconut water, if you will, and then by like midway through the movie Peter's drinking in the cafeteria, which I think is really cute because that does happen in the books and it does happen in the movies too. Something that I did like, I actually found that I liked Josh more in the movie than I liked him in the book. I think because they're a lot more friendlier in the movie than they are in the book. They don't really talk a whole lot, and when they do he's kind of nagging her all the time in the book, so I didn't really like that. But in the movie they're a lot friendlier and happier, and she talks to him a lot actually, which doesn't happen in the books as much. Another scene that was like iconic from the books, I think folks as a fan of the story, was the baking scene when she is baking the cupcakes and he comes over. I mean, it's more extended in the book, which is always going to be, the book's always going to have more. I would have loved to see Noah in an apron though, let's be honest. He comes over and interrupts her making cupcakes, and the dad comes home. This is all very similar to the book, except the dad comes home a lot later, because instead of trying to rush her out the door like he does in the movie, in the books he actually helps her make the cupcakes, and all they have to do is decorate them when the dad comes home, which is later on in the night. Something I wish we could have seen in the movies was the scene where the flower goes all over them. I think that would have been super cute. I mean, it's already so cute though. Could you imagine? That's probably why they didn't put it in, because we would have just died. We would have honestly just died with all the cuteness. Another scene, iconic again, basically straight from the book, is that scene outside of the party where he's taking the screenshot, where he's taking the photo of her and he's telling her to keep her hair down because she looks prettier. Perfect. Exactly like the book, almost word for word, except in the movie, the scrunchie, the fucking scrunchie, plays a huge role in the movies, whereas in the books it really doesn't. He just chucks it away, whereas obviously we know why the scrunchie plays a big role. I'll get to that later. But yeah, the scrunchie, he keeps the scrunchie. Can we just talk about me and Bae? The fucking Instagram, me and my friend, you see us in my reaction video, we're like, ah, so cute. Die, kill me. Kill me. I can't handle Lara Jean and Peter. I just can't. It's too fucking cute for words. Now, the post-party cafe scene I wrote here. God, who am I? They have this conversation in the book almost word for word, and she says she's scared, and it's not scary, why are you scared? And she's like, well, we're faking it. It's basically the same, slight embellishments, differences, but it's just not in the cafe. The cafe doesn't play as much of a role, or the diner doesn't play as much of a role in the books as it does in the movies, but I think it's good how they do it. I also know, well, if you will, that Lara Jean and her dad go to the cafe later on in the books, and they sit at the same table as her and Peter. I'm sure everyone noticed it, but I'm just pointing it out. Now, the talk outside her house with Josh in the movie goes very, very differently to the books. As we know, you know, in the books, she talks to him inside her own house after he's, I think, stayed over and helped them with things, I'm not sure. And he fucking kisses her. What? Josh, no. So in the books, they didn't include that. I think it's still, noted that, you know, she was in love with him and that's still important. So I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm happy that they didn't include it or not. I don't think it was necessary, I guess, so why include it? But it was very different, obviously, very, very different. Let me know what you thought about them not including that. Did you want them to include that? Are you team Josh? I'm team Peter. But are you team Josh? Did you want them to include the kiss? Were you upset they didn't? Let me know. Okay. Now, something I'm glad they put in the movie that is not in the books is the little movie night they have where they watch not Pretty in Pink. So where they watch 16 Candles. Obviously, they make the movies more of a bigger part of the movie. That's very interesting to say out loud. But yeah, in the books that doesn't happen. Although something that doesn't happen in the books, which kind of I think they were alluding to in this part, was Halloween. I really wish we could have had Halloween in the movie. We can't have everything, I know. Maybe it'll be in the sequel. Please let us have a sequel. Maybe that's what they were holding off, because in the books they have a little dance off and he plays around with the kitty and they're very close. But that's not in the movie. The movie night is swapped out maybe for Halloween in the movie, because that is definitely not in the movie. The Halloween is, and they have a little dance off in the living room and stuff. And Peter does hang out at the house quite a bit, but that movie night, not in the books. I love that they included her meeting Peter's family. I really love this I don't know, I guess it makes me cringe in the book because of her little brother, but I love the movie version. I actually think I like it better in the sense of their conversation after the dinner. That dinner with his mum's basically word for word, apart from the little brother not being a little dick. But yeah, I love the line where it's like, you can be mad at someone and still miss them.
Sometimes I walk around the house and see that he's not in any of the photos anymore, though. And I really miss him. But then I think about, you know, everything he's doing with his new family that he used to do with us, and I get so mad that I'm glad he's gone.
You don't mean that. You can be mad at someone and still miss them.
Oh, I think all of us felt that one. That's not in the book. I feel like that's more book 3 vibes. Does anyone feel that? Just let me know. Because I feel like his dad plays a bigger role. Like she does ask him about his dad in this part of the book where they're talking after the dinner and stuff. But I feel like that line might be from the 3rd book, or I don't know. I just felt book 3 vibes in that scene. But I actually think I prefer the movie version of that dinner better. And how she's like, oh, Kitty and them would be good friends. I really did like that scene, and I was just like, and when she's like, sometimes being with Peter was so easy that I just did, I almost forgot it was fate or something.
It's actually really nice having someone to talk to about this stuff. You're a good listener.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. You are too.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Being with Peter was so easy that sometimes I let myself pretend it wasn't fake.
And I was like, oh, kill me. Some parts with Christine in this book, in this movie, some of them were like hilarious to cringy. They did cast her really well. I think that's kind of exactly how I pictured her. But the scene with the dad.
You thought, I'd really love to look at vaginas all day.
Gonna leave the kitchen now, Christine.
Oh my god, that was a great, that definitely doesn't happen in the books, but thank you for including that in the damn movie, because that was gold. That was gold. And yeah, I see it again, that's straight out of the book. Obviously with books like the size of To All the Boys I Loved Before, they're not very big books, so they can take whole chunks of dialogue from the movie into the book, which I keep saying, it's exactly like the book, and you're probably like, yeah, I wonder why. That's why, because I guess it's just that much of a small book that they can. But yeah, that scene where he's like, oh, you know, I'm so glad you're going out more, and he seems so happy with Peter. That's in the books, and I think it's so nice they put it in the movie. He obviously really liked Peter the dad in both the book and the movie, and I just think that was such a nice thing to include, because obviously you have to cut some things, and I'm so glad that they included it. Now, the big kahuna, these next two are the fucking big kahunas. We've got the fucking ski trip. The ski trip. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, you know in the beginning of the movie she's like, I know that me and Peter aren't going to be close by the ski trip, so that's why I say yes. All of us here are like, yeah girl, yeah, you're not going to be close by then. Yeah you are. Yeah you are. In the book he doesn't do the whole, I just want you to be safe. That does not happen, but he's like, have a good time, love you. I think the movie version of the whole bus scene is a little bit sadder. I think in the movie she's asleep anyway. You know, like, and he's like, come and sit with me. Look at him. I've took a picture of him, how beautiful he is in the bus. As if you want to sit with him. Why is my voice going so high? As if you wanted to sit with him. I mean, come on. Come on. It's basically the same. Oh, in the book, I remember now. In the book, she's like, oh, we're going to break up soon anyway, so we may as well make it realistic. That just makes it so much less sad. I know, like, for dramatic effect, they did that in the movie, but, like, oh, Peter's just like, man. Something that I both loved in the movie, but also I would have liked the original. It's hard. It's so hard. I love them both. And I think, as I said, I'm not trying to say that one's better or worse. I mean, I always think the book is better because you get more content. But, like, apart from that, I love them both. Something that I, both loved in the book and I loved how they did it in the movie is that kind of, like, talk she has before the hot tub. Oh, we're gonna get to that. But before the hot tub, in the book, she meets Peter in the hallway and they kind of talk it out, and that's where he tells her he likes her, and you know, and she's like, no, but you still love Genevieve, and she's like, no, I like you, and she's like, yeah, but rah, rah. And he's like, fine, I'm going to the hot tub, and she's like, okay, bye. In the movie, he explains the situation to Lucas, who is actually such a huge part of this movie. I love the fact that he is such a big part. I mean, he is, I would say he's like a medium level character in the books, but I love how like they play on their relationship, which it really is exactly how it is in the books, but I don't know, maybe I just didn't see him as a big character. Anyway, yeah, I love that they shared a room, and like he's like, yeah, you're like a sexy Rubik's Cube, and yeah, I just love that whole scene with the face mask, and I thought that was really cute, not only to tell them their friendship, but for her to kind of realize that he does like you. Get it, girl? So yeah, I like that they did that in the movie and in the books. I definitely would have liked to see her talk to Peter about it, but she kind of does. Some of what they say to each other in that conversation in the hallway in the book, they kind of say to each other in the hot tub. Anyway, they do say it. It's just different chronologically. What is the right word? Someone help me out. It's a chronology. I don't know. The one line that they did use from that conversation outside the hall that they kind of use is like way earlier in the movie is he talks about how like, you know, you'd rather be with someone in your head than in real life. That's what Peter says to her in the book. Whew, get a boy, that's on point. But the movie with the whole like Josh is in the room but he's not in the room because he's not real but I'm daydreaming him, he says that to her, and like I thought that was a great line in general, and then when I was doing when I was referencing today for this video, I realized that Peter says it in the book and not Josh. But in the movie, this is probably making no sense, I'm all over the place, I'm so sorry, this is me trying to be organized. In the movie he's like, yeah, I'm more real to him than he is, which is saying the fake Josh who's in her room is more real to her than the real Josh who's trying to talk to her, which is when then she climbs out the window and falls down. But in the book, Peter says that to her right before the hot tub scene, and is basically saying, you know, you're not brave enough because all of these boys you had no chance with because they were on your head and rah rah. I don't know. So that was interesting that they kind of swapped the characters around there in that line that Peter says it in the book, Josh says it in the movie. Now the fucking hot tub. The fucking hot tub though. I love how when Lara Jean comes out of like the ski resort, she just like sees him shirtless and she's like, because that was all of us. Can I get an amen? Like, yes, girl. Get it. Get it. Anyway, that scene is perfect in my opinion. The book though I find interesting. She actually says in the hot tub that she likes him, whereas in the movie it's a lot later. She doesn't say it. Obviously it's very much implied, but in the movie she doesn't say it till like right at the end, obviously. Perfect scene. Iconic yet again. Iconic yet again. Oh my god, we're running out of time. Now, I mentioned the scrunchie before. I think this is a smart way to do it for the movie. The scrunchie is like a fucking metaphor for her and Genevieve's relationship. And you know, instead of her in the book getting upset about him spreading lies about them having sex, in the movie it's, well, you went to the room, why did you go to her room, and why did you give her my favorite scrunchie, even though she fucking stole it because she's a rude bitch. But yeah, I really like how they used that as like a way to like show the jealousy and all that. I don't know how to put it, but yeah, loved that. I actually like this more, I think, than in the book because, like, come on, give Peter some credit. He's not going to spread lies about you. So I liked that she got angry with him about that more, like going to her room and giving her the scrunchie. Another nod to the books, which is not explicitly mentioned in the movie, is the cookie bonanza. Now, they obviously like, it's a lot bigger in the books, and it's like kind of a clash between Peter and Josh in the books. In the movie, it's not even mentioned, but if you notice, before Peter comes and interrupts them while they're all talking about Margot in Scotland, she's making cookies, and there's cookies on the table, which I noticed on like my 5th rewatch. No, I actually noticed that on my first watch. They're making cookies, and I think that's really nice, because obviously that's a big part of their Christmas, and yeah. The first time I watched the fight scene, sounds like a totally different movie. The fight scene in the movie, I thought, oh god, like they could have done this better, which you'll see if you watch my reaction video. After I watched it again, I did like it better. I think I was just more disappointed because I wanted to see Peter Kavinsky in a Christmas sweater. Like, come on, and then you don't want to see Noah in a Christmas sweater. So, yeah, I think I was I felt like, for me, it wasn't so much how it went down in the movie that annoyed me. It was kind of like, Peter's here to talk to Lara Jean, fair enough. What the fuck are you doing here, Josh? Like, you kind of like, I know you live next door. Are you just like stalking out the window and then you run over when you see Peter's there? Like, for me, that was the only thing I was like, huh? Also, I think it would have been more dramatic if they had kissed in the movie and then Julie, you kissed Josh. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on that particular scene. Last thing I'll mention about the differences in the books, or the differences within the first book anyway, is I love that they put that talk in with her dad at the cafe. Again, they're sitting at the same table that her and Peter sit at in the movie. And like she gets to talk about her mum, and you know, I'm so glad that they obviously made her mum an integral part of this movie, because she's such a big part of the books, or lack thereof, her, you know. She's such an integral part of the book, so I'm so glad that they didn't, you know, try and cut her out, and you know, they made it a really important part of the story, because it's a very important part of Lara Jean, and I think it wouldn't have been an injustice not to put her in. But yeah, and also in that scene, that's the scene that you realise that there's little jukeboxes on the tables because her mum used to dance between the tables. So I thought that was really nice to mention her mum, obviously, but also the jukeboxes, and you know. Now, the rest of the movie is more of kind of an extension of book 2, P.S. I Still Love You, because the first book ends with a letter to Peter, but not a fucking completed letter. What a cliffhanger. Oh my god. The rest of the movie is kind of like overlapped between book 1 and book 2, like the beginning of book 2 and the end of book 1, because book 2 starts right where we left off in book 1, which thank god, could you imagine? But yeah, so we kind of like overlap. For example, things that are an extension or a, you know, continuation that are in book 2 that are actually not in book 1. If this is making any sense, I'm probably rambling. Book ends with her writing a letter. They don't reconcile at the end of book 1. We don't know what happens and it kills us. And book 2 is when the hot tub video is leaked, when they reconcile. You know, Peter does stand up to everyone like he does in the movie, but it's a different kind of setting, and it's not until book 2. And the confrontation with Jen, I'm pretty sure isn't until like the mid to end of book 2, after the whole like game they play. But I'm really glad they put it in there. I think I love I really relate to Lara Jean, how like she's like the nice girl that everyone walks all over. So when she kind of talks about that in book 2 and then finally stands up to Jen, I really like that. I'm really glad they put it in the movie too. I mean, hopefully they're probably going to play on that more in the sequel, if they do the sequel, which I really hope they do. So they'll probably play on that even more, but I'm glad she stood up for herself in the movie, which doesn't happen until book 2 in the books. Glad they got to show the notes. Oh no, it's gonna die. The notes that Peter wrote, which is in book 1. They got to see that, and I'm glad we got to see the reconciliation like it was in the movie. In the book, it's probably more realistic. He's more angry, and it's been a little bit longer since they've spoken to each other. But I like that she reads him the letter at the end of the movie, because she does obviously write him that letter at the end of book 1 and does give him the letter in book 2. So I really like that. It's gonna die. But yeah, I like that she tried to read it out to him and then finally tells him. Obviously, the only other parts that are missing in the first movie is John Ambrose is a much bigger part of book 1. She goes to see him at the Model UN thing where she's not meant to be there, but then she is. And he's mentioned a lot more. Peter knows about him and he gets a bit jealous, I think. So yeah, I'm glad they put him in the end of the movie, because it's like a tease of the sequel, and he shows up at her door. In the book, they're like pen pals to each other, and he writes her back and forth before I think they eventually meet up. But I'm glad that they put that in, because I was like, when I first watched it, I didn't know there was a scene at the end. So I was like, oh no, there's not going to be a sequel because they've just walked off together happily ever after. But then the second time I watched it, thank God I watched it more than once, you see that John Ambrose shows up and you're like, yeah, because I do love John. I love Peter all the way, Team Peter, but I fucking love John too. So I'm glad, I hope the sequel's all about them and the USO party. Oh my God. I'm glad they put him at the end of the movie, because yeah, he's mentioned so much more in book 1. The only other things I would have liked to have seen that aren't in the movie is the estate sale, the Christmas party with him in the Christmas sweater, the Halloween dance off, and like, you know, how she goes as Cho Chang. And yeah, otherwise I think they just really captured the heart of this movie, sorry, the heart of this book so perfectly. I absolutely adore the books, I adore the movie. As I said, this isn't the one issue and one's not. I love them both. I think as bookworms, we're always going to love the books more because they have more for us to indulge in and love. But this movie was perfect in my opinion. It captured the heart of the book. While it did change things, I kind of like, as I said, like some of the changes they made. and I can't wait. Please give us a sequel. I'm going to do a video on my theories for the sequel, and some things that I picked up that maybe they're going to use in the sequel, but that's for another video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the movie. What was your favorite part? What do you think is going to happen in the sequel? Let me know. Talk to me about it. I love this so much. And if you don't want to spoil anyone down in the comments, message me on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll freaking fangirl together. Bye!